Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Mind Over Madness podcast with myself and the beautiful Sean. There he is. Look at that face.
There I am. The ancient old man, Sean.
The ancient.
He comes and gives his wisdom every once in a while.
Oh, shush! You're not ancient. How dare you?
Yeah, I saw people in your Discord complain about being old, and I was like, "That's cute."
Yeah, I found that. I was like, oh, fuck off, old. You're like 17, man. Jesus,
That's cute.
that's adorable. I remember being.
Oh
that
no!
age.
Anyway.
Literally, It's like, oh no. Anyway. But yeah.
Yes, how have you been these past couple of weeks?
Well,
On
yeah.
our 2-week schedule podcast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, of course, the last podcast we did, I think it was like the first week of charity month.
Still 19 years old.
I was still 19. I was 19 years old. I'm now 82. Yeah, no, it's been good. You know, we did charity month. Obviously, that's why there's been no podcast. Like last month was a lot for me. So just to look after myself, make sure that I was okay. You know, when we didn't do a podcast, I wanted to make sure that I was taking time for me as well. And then this week was meant to be my week off. It's gone well. But a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff happening behind the scenes. So I can't really complain or grumble too much about that. But yeah, it's been good. It's been nice to have a week off. Obviously, it's nice to be sat down with you doing a podcast. So, you know, that's good. And then we'll hopefully hang out for a little bit afterwards as well. I wanna hang out, play some games, finish The Leftovers.
No, this is what we do instead of hanging out. Get with the memo.
This was you. Yeah, literally. So normally it's like Sean will message me and be like, "Hey, do you want to like just hang out?" And I'm like, "Hey, can we do the podcast?" It was the reverse today. I was messaging you to be like, "Do you want to hang out?" And you were like, "Podcast."
Yeah, might
But
as
that's
well.
good.
Otherwise, we just have to do it next week. And
Yeah.
time to drag it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, makes sense. But yeah, no, it's been good. How about you? What have you been up to?
I've been having some time off as well. It's just been good to recharge the batteries, eat some fatty clotted cream, and shove scones in my mouth, and have a bit of socializing time and winding down time. But yeah, it's been pretty good. I can't complain. Nothing is going too wrong. I know things will probably start getting a bit more hectic in the next few weeks, but yeah, I'm enjoying time for now.
Which is the main thing.
And yeah, enjoying being able to do the podcast today.
Yeah.
Turn that brightness up.
Oh, get that brightness up, big boy.
Get that brightness up.
Yeah. No, that's good. I'm excited. It's been a little while. I've got some news from a while back, but also we'll have some more updated stuff as well, I imagine.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things, but mostly focused on films this week, I think. And
oh, interesting. I've been on games. So I got a big focus on
good.
games this week. So we've got good balance here. Good balance, guys. Good balance.
Yeah.
Right,
No interesting things, of course.
No, never. That part of the podcast has died. No interesting things anymore. But right, should we get started then? Good. So should we jump into our news stuff? So what have you got?
Yeah.
What have you got for us?
Well, I suppose one of the significant things is obviously Princess of Wales isn't undergoing cancer treatment. I think the media has like whipped up this storm of like, oh my god, 6 weeks to live and all this kind of thing. It's like, no, they went through like a routine operation a few months ago, and they found some like possibly cancerous cells in her womb area. I don't know the full details because obviously that's not been leaked or whatever.
Yeah,
Or mentioned. But yeah, so she's undergoing this preventative chemotherapy, I think it is. So, I mean, it's one of those things that if anyone else was going through it, like we wouldn't even know about it. But because it is the royalty, now we feel like we have a duty to know all about it. And obviously we wish her well and stuff, but I feel like it's not a massive, biggest deal as it is made out to be in the press.
Definitely, yeah. I think anything that happens with the royal family, especially in the UK, it's always very much highlighted and focused on. But yeah, I do find it a bit odd sometimes. Like, again, like you said, we wish her the best, and we obviously don't wish any harm against any of them.
No,
but
not trying to trivialize it too much, but
No.
it's a bit.
But yeah, it does make you think, like, you don't really care about other people, like normal everyday people like that, do you? So,
No.
but they're well known. They have a name. That's why it's in the news. Well, fucking
They're
report on
celebrities.
news. Yeah, focus on the actual news. How about that?
Yeah.
Like, but that's too much to ask for them.
It's,
But yeah.
it's strange. I don't think many people get the opportunity to get preventative chemotherapy.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, usually you get chemotherapy when you've got the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Or
Or you'll have to go private to get that shit.
Oh yeah. Well.
So.
Yeah. That's 'cause there's no other way for them.
Yeah.
There's no other way.
True.
NHS doesn't exist for the royal. It's all right. Get in next
True.
week. Find something wrong, great. Bing bang boom. Get it done.
Bing bang bong. Bish bash bosh. Bing 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 bong. But yeah. I mean, again, we wish her well, of course. We hope that it's nothing serious. But I think it is an interesting thing to talk about. I mean, we've talked about it on our podcast before about how this differentiation of treatment to rich people or well-known people or famous people or anything like that, it does just show the double standard that we have in we live in a society. We live in a society where like it's just so unbalanced and it's just so broken. I think this kind of stuff just highlights it all the time, and it's a bit poo.
Yeah, and like it's the media doesn't help as well. Just like making it out to be so. Obviously, it must have been a slow news week.
Yeah,
and obviously it needs to be covered because people, are obsessed with the royal family. But it's just one of those things. Like they need to get on with it.
Yeah. Just like we all do.
Yeah, just like we all do, and don't get the recognition for it. And I'll be people coming out saying, "Oh, she's so brave. The media have forced her to do this, Diana style." It's like, no, she's come out admirably and said what's wrong. That's what she should do. Really, it's not been invaded too much. But yeah, well, wish her all the best in her recovery from this. But,
yeah, of course. Yeah. We wish no ill will. No ill will.
No. We never wish ill will. We just point out the facts.
Yeah,
and
we point out the double standards.
Influences. Yeah. Yeah, that's the end of that item.
That's the end of that one.
That's the end of that one. Another one bites the dust.
So I have one. It is from a while back now. It was back from the 18th of March. So obviously we've talked about this before, like the Tata Steelworks in Port Talbot in Wales being closed and everything. They have officially announced that the coke ovens at its giant plant in South Wales will close on Wednesday. So they closed a while back, but this obviously has had a massive effect. A lot of people have lost their jobs, kind of not really with a lot of help either. And obviously there's still a bit of an uproar with it in the sense that they feel that the government should just take on the steelworks themselves, kind of nationalise them again like we used to have. But obviously there's been no budging or sort of wiggle room on that. The government have just said, no, we'll close it, fuck it. Yeah. So, which to me just seems like the stupidest thing to do, because Wales is only now known for three things: hills, sheep, and Tata Steel.
Well,
now it's just hills. Now it's just hills and sheep. That's it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do find it to be a little bit of an odd choice because it does bring in a lot of money. But I mean, yeah, instead of like sort of upgrading the equipment and the machinery that's there, they've just decided to outright close them. Which has obviously created a bit of an uproar. And I think the UK is doing this a lot. It's not just obviously Wales that's affected. I think England and Scotland have also had things that have closed that have obviously affected you. I think it's just...
It's sad.
Yeah.
Like we don't like making our own things anymore. We're not proud to have things made in this country anymore. Everything has to be outsourced.
Which also, I mean, we left the EU. That's cost us a shit ton of money. So why are we closing things that could make up that money?
I know, yeah.
Doesn't make any
sense. We need to export things.
Yeah.
It's just,
bit crazy.
I think a lot of Welsh lambs are exported, I think. But, Welsh lamb. All the
best
vegans
lamb.
are loving that.
Dear God. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. I think that the UK is just going to end up just destroying itself because there's no way for us to get income. They keep complaining about how we have a deficit of money and stuff in the government and everything. Then fucking do something about it, you nitwits.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's
Stop
ridiculous.
Stop taking the biggest slice of the pie and not doing anything.
No, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Just that everything's like going up in price, but nothing is like increasing in value.
Yeah, I don't know.
That is inflation.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have that. Have you got anything else, good sir?
Well, I've written electric vehicles here because I think there was a story recently about electric vehicles pushing the price of like everyone's insurance. So this is just something that's going to affect me in the next couple of days. So I think I'm getting my renewal in a few days. So hopefully it's not going up too much. But people are saying, "Oh my God, my insurance has doubled and stuff," because the amount of electric vehicles that are being written off.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's one of those things like electric vehicles don't have a great shelf life.
No.
There's not really a used electric vehicle market or anything like that.
Not right
like
now,
there is
no.
with petrol cars.
Yeah.
Because people don't want them. They don't want a used battery, which is
Yeah.
less productive than a new one.
Yeah.
With the battery shortage and everything, and so it's one of those things. And when they catch fire or when they get damaged, it's like a risk. They need to be like contained for 30 days. So rather than pay for that, they'd rather write off the electric vehicles. So
Yeah.
and they're bloody expensive as well. So that's pushing everyone's premiums up. So you're not
Yeah.
paying for your own safety anymore. Well, obviously your insurance is like paying for anyone else you hit or whatever, but you're also paying for everyone else's vehicles that get written off by these insurance companies.
Yeah.
Which is just
crazy. I mean, it doesn't really make much
ridiculous.
sense. It makes no sense. Like people that drive. Obviously, I don't drive, but people that do drive, like it does make me wonder. We can only speak of the UK because that's where we live, but like it does seem crazy to me. You pay the road tax because the idea of that road tax is that it goes towards keeping the roads functional. Yeah, that doesn't happen. So why bother fucking paying it? You pay obviously you have different amounts for depending on the car that you have and age and things like that. I'm not 100% sure on how it works. You'll know more about this than I will. But insurance and things like that for the car. I know my mum recently got a new car, but it was like a 10-year-old sort of second-hand car, and she only had to pay something like £20-30 insurance on it, which I thought was really, really good. But apparently that's fairly normal for cars of that age and that sort of
£20-30 road tax, you mean?
Oh yeah, that's the one. Sorry, yeah.
Insurance.
It's like insurance, Jesus. See, you could tell I know fuck all about it. But yeah, that's kind of the road tax and that. But then if you've got something like a 4x4 or like a big beefy car, like it's something like double, if not more.
Yeah, it can be like 200, 300 plus.
Bloody hell.
It's mine's only £20, thankfully, and that hasn't changed. Because mine must be like good emissions and stuff like that. It's only like a 1 litre engine and stuff. So
yeah, my mum's is a 1 litre now, so that's probably why she doesn't have to pay a lot.
Yeah, people are just going to end up. It's like I don't know. I see people complaining like, why do I even bother getting a nice car? Because it just, woe is me. But like it gets like scratched and like people don't care and you're just paying more and more and more. Why don't you just get like a runabout and stuff? Which is like, I'm not really a car. Fanatic, so I don't really care about what my car looks like to other people. I just want something to get from A to B. So I don't care about all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just get a run around, which is cheaper to run.
Yeah.
But does such thing exist in this day and age anymore? Things that are cheaper to run.
Probably not.
It's gonna get to the point where I think they're just trying to dissuade people from using cars. You've got all the eco zones and. Pushing insurance up and pushing road tax up and everything's just changing, not favorably for car owners. So,
yeah. I understand they're trying to get people to stop driving, but put something in place to help people then. If you're going to
actually have a good public transport system.
Exactly. It's fucking perfect example. That system is shit. Across the fucking board. It's crap. So, and it's just, they keep cutting back on that, but they're like, hey, stop driving though.
Yeah.
What? You can't expect people to just, that's their way of getting around.
Because I was thinking, oh, well, if it gets too much to get there, to pay for this, I'll just have to sell the car. But then I'm like, well, public transport around here is absolute dog shit. I can imagine it's even worse in Wales, in the valleys or whatever. It's like one bus
fucking
every
garbage.
5 hours.
Well,
Um,
I mean,
it's just like
it
ridiculous.
is
You
it
can't.
is crazy. And the thing is, as well, is like with public transport and stuff, make it so it's reasonable for people who work late hours. I think that's a big problem as well. Like people need to drive because they need to get from work for, like, say they finish at midnight or something. There's no fucking public transport then.
I
What are
know,
they meant to
it's really
do?
hard to actually plan around public transport as well.
Yeah, because
Because
it's so
obviously
unreliable.
the delays and like you can't help some delays, but you will literally never get to where you want to be at the time you want to be there with public transport, basically.
It's crazy.
So if you need to be on time for like a job and stuff, they're like, "Oh, well, get an earlier train." Well, we do that, but you still end up late.
Yeah, yeah.
It's one of those things. Employers gonna have to get used to people being late as well.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I just think is so fucking stupid. I don't personally understand it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it just makes common sense. If you want people to stop driving, then improve public transport. It's really easy equation here, MPs. Why are you so stupid?
Yeah.
Like, it's really easy. It's really, really easy. But yeah, they don't want to do that. They're just like, no, money in my pocket.
Yeah. It's not easy for their bank balances, though.
Fuck their bank
Not easy
balances.
for their pride.
Dickheads. A lot of them. Ow. Oh. But yeah.
But yeah, that's the two main topics I've got.
Oh, okay. I've got a bit of a nicer one.
Okay.
So the LGBTQ community, plus community, I should say, Cardiff is going to become the first UK city to host a Euro Games for them, which is quite cool. So in 2027, the event will be held in Cardiff, which is the Welsh capital. It's a shithole. First staged in 1992, organisers say the event was set up in response to discrimination and to promote integration into sport, which is cool. And I think
Isn't
that's
there a bit of an irony there?
maybe. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. I like the fact that there is something being done, because I know in like average sports and stuff now, there's a lot of sort of discrimination in regards to transgenders people, whether it's male to female, female to male, participating in sports, because there's the argument to be made that, oh well, biologically they have an advantage or disadvantage.
Yeah.
So it's nice that I mean you could also argue the sense of like, well, isn't that just discriminating against them and putting them in their own camp, which is like not great. But I think it is to look at it on the flip side, to try and see the nicer positive side of it. I think that it's nice that they, the LGBTQ community finally gets something that's theirs, like just theirs, and there's no discrimination in there. It's done fairly, I mean, we say that now, but obviously time will tell. I can see that smile appearing. But, hopefully it's a good story and it ends up being a good thing, overall, instead of, being shat all over and becoming a bit of a joke because, it just basically gets treated like shit.
Yeah. I just feel like we just need a system where, like, gender is just, like... it's one of those hard ones because, it's traditionally always been this way where there's, like, men's sports, women's sports. And, as far as being, like, gay or whatever, I don't think that is too much of an issue these days, but there's trans... There's definitely some discrimination against trans people with the whole kind of, oh, well, they've got this much testosterone and, they're obviously going to throw the shot put further and they're going to swim faster because males are biologically tuned to, have greater muscle mass and stuff like this. So, which I understand that point, but it does make a very grey area in these sports. And I can see if you're like a woman who's been training all your life to do something and then you get beaten by someone who has biologically been born a man, and it might seem a bit unfair. But there just needs to be some kind of, and I suppose that is a good thing in the fact that they get their own separate category, but also it does that say that, oh well, they're not part of any of us, they're just they're on separate. which we're not really going to care about, but you know, we'll just pretend to care.
It's like a two-sided. It's double-edged sword, isn't it? It's like there are positives to this, of course, so that the competitions will be more fair, more balanced. But there's also the side of it. Well, isn't that just sort of feeding into that discrimination aspect of forcing them to have to go into their own these people, because they are people. You know. Does it just mean that we're kind of just doing what we did way back in like the early 90s with sort of racism and things like that? It's you're separating individuals out just because of their they're different in some way, shape or form, and I guess that's a risky edge to run. I mean, but my thing is this: if the LGBTQ community thinks this is a good thing, good. Then as long as they're okay with it, and people who are in that very wide, let's face it, it's only grown bigger. You know, the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
Like, if the people that are involved in it are okay with it, and it's something that is done fairly and correctly, then sure. But if it's being done to sort of push them out of what I guess the norm, then there's that argument to be made that you're just discriminating against people because they're different, and people are people. Like, it shouldn't be treated like that, you know.
But there definitely needs to be some kind of sit down and think about all this kind of stuff, because it just seems like they just put a band-aid on things.
Yeah, there's no permanent solution. It's more like separating.
I suppose every way someone's going to get, someone's going to get shafted.
Like we tried to do on this podcast, we tried to see.
I might as well be the straight white males.
Yeah, it's like we try to do on this podcast is we try to see it from all sides. We don't just like going in and fucking full hog on one side of things. But with something like this, then there is just so many different angles to it. There's so many different sides to it. Like, you know, I think there's going to be some people that are for it, some people that are against it, some people that are going to be like, there needs to be more. You know, I think it's never a winning. I don't think no matter what happens, there's no sort of equilibrium that's ever going to be reached. I think
we make good broadcasters because
we
always do both sides.
We do try. That's what we try to do in here. Obviously, we have our own biases and our own opinions, but we do try to stay. You know, I mean, look. Personally, for me, I'm all for it. If it's something that betters life for the people of the LGBTQ community and it makes things better for them, I'm all for it. If it's more on the edge of discrimination, then fuck off with that. Like, we don't need any more of that shit in this world. There's too much of it already. That's my stance on it. But, you know.
Yeah. I feel like I'm center, but like leaning towards its discrimination kind of thing. So we're like a good, fair match there.
Yeah.
But, you know, I can see the positives and negatives. So, like, on both sides.
As can I,
one of those things.
It's a very difficult topic. Someone be like, oh, how dare you say that? Oh, fuck off. It's an opinion. People are different. That's fine. It's okay to disagree with people. That's not a problem.
Yeah, and there's obviously like extremist minorities in like all sides that will like kind of shout about these things, but it's not actually
the loudest.
Yeah, LGBT community want.
They tend to be the loudest idiots.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
They'll come on all the talk shows and, you know, spout all the nonsense. Be like, yes, I'm an ambassador for my people.
It's like, no, that's not how that works.
Most people just want a laid back, you know, chilled, relaxed life, just to get on with what they want to do.
Do what they want to do, be who they want to be. Simple. Yeah. Real easy.
Simples.
Simples. God, I haven't heard that in ages.
Meerkat will be sponsored. Sponsored by Meerkat.
And now for our sponsor. We don't have one. However, if you want to go and check it out, I do stream over on Twitch, Lubu UK. You can go and check that out. And sometimes I even have Lubu. I also have this wonderful man here. He appears on my YouTube channel quite a lot in a few funny moment stuff. So go and check that stuff out. Gaming Geeks 24/7. If you are interested, of course. No pressure.
Go and follow ourselves here on this channel.
Yeah, hell yeah. Oh, by the way, we're both editors. Contact us. Get us work.
Come up with all your complaints.
Oh god, yeah. But right, after that wonderful chat about the news, because it's never awkward, so should we jump into something a little more light? Should we do some? What would you like to do? Films? Should we do a little bit of films? I've got a couple.
Yeah. Let's do some films and TV stuff.
Cool. Right. I'll let you begin because you got more than me.
Okay. Well, I think the thing that is probably most fresh in my mind, which I watched last night, is Poor Things with Emma Stone in there. I wouldn't say. I'd say it's an experience rather than something that I sit down to enjoy. It's different than what I actually saw in the trailers. I wasn't expecting it to be like what it is. It does seem a little bit darker than what it's supposed to be. I mean, the amount of like sex and stuff in it is like almost incomprehensible. Like, I don't think there's ever been someone who's had so many sexual partners in the film than Emma Stone in this. Because it's obviously all about, like, there's the sci-fi element of it, like the whole Frankenstein thing, like putting a child's brain in an adult's body and watching them grow. So I quite like that stuff with the kind of sci-fi aspect. But I'd say that's only about 5% of the film. The rest of it is
porn.
Emma Stone being ploughed by older guys. So I see that the message is probably, women are treated as objects, women are, sexual things for men.
There was
the whole kind of pedophilic angle on it with her being like a child.
Oh, God.
That's a child's brain, but an adult's body, kind of thing.
Oh, God. I mean, there was that conversation recently in the news, wasn't there, about kind of Jenna Ortega had an X-rated scene with... oh, God, what's his name? I always forget his name.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you guys know who I'm talking about. You guys know. But yeah, there was that whole like sort of conversation about Martin
Sherlock
something.
Guy.
Yeah, Martin something. Yeah, there you go, Martin Freeman. So like there was that I've not obviously seen whatever it was. I don't know if it was a film or a TV show, but there's like there was apparently like a very X-rated scene with those two, and because of the age disparity, like the age difference, people were like a bit weirded out by it. There seems to be like a bit of an uprising with or I shouldn't say uprising. There seems to be like a more of an uptick, like you just said with like Emma Stone. I'm saying up a lot. That's not great.
Yeah.
But obviously, you talking about Emma Stone in that kind of just reminded me of that, and I'm thinking, is Hollywood kind of defaulting back to that stuff now? Do we think? Because obviously, a lot of Hollywood films now these days have been sort of flopping at the box office, not doing great. Do we feel like we're kind of going backwards a little bit?
There's this great irony about it because she's got an Oscar for this, for acting like a child in an adult's body. Which is like fair enough. It's not. I'm not saying it's easy to do that.
No.
It just seems there was no kind of nuance or something that would make me say Oscar-winning performance here. I mean, I don't really believe in all the Oscars and stuff because it's just rich people batting each other on the back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. The film with the most sex and the young, good-looking woman where you barely see her clothed. Is the one that wins the Oscar. You can imagine the people who like give out these awards, like a room full of men with like grey hair and suits on, like yes, the wife lets me get away with this. Watching this instead of porn.
Oh God.
But that's just how I imagine it. Probably not
Hollywood.
Like that, but
Hollywood.
It's probably not too far from the truth.
No, sadly not. Sadly not.
But it was interesting. I don't really get the message from it. Obviously, it's like about men being, predators.
Yeah.
Because that's just what we are.
Apparently, all of us are like that. Apparently, that's just
But yeah, I would have liked to have seen more. It did make me laugh a few times with her being kind of not socially aware, acting like a child in these kind of circumstances.
Yeah.
I think there's one scene where she's like at a dinner party. I love dinner party scenes. They're always the best. They're always like awkward.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
just like
real
life.
She's acting like really like awkward, like his penis tastes salty and all this kind of thing. And then Mark Ruffalo's like, only say 3 things. Amazing, that's amazing. Oh, how did they get the pastry so crisp and delightful? And so she does, and then they're like, oh yes, my grandfather died last week. She's like, delightful. How did they get the pastry so crisp? It's like, that's quite good.
Okay, that's that. Yeah.
And that was the first like half of the film, which I quite enjoyed more than the second half, where it's just like she goes to a brothel and it's like sex. Yes, look how horrible these old men are.
Oh God. How the fuck did that get through?
Because it's kind of filmed in like an interesting way. It's like It's almost like channeling Wes Anderson kind of vibes, but with these directors trying to make their own style, and it's kind of just gets annoying after a while. They use like a really fisheye lens, so you can only see the very central thing. Everything else is super blurry. Every other shot is a zoom right on the face, like.
Oh god.
And it's kind of distracting more than it's kind of creative, but maybe that's just my opinion. Maybe it's a masterpiece. I don't know.
Yes, a film about a child being in a fully grown woman's body getting ploughed by many men in a brothel. Sounds like something that should have been made in the 1950s.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm sure there's more to it than that, but I mean, I can understand why that's such a distracting part of the film. Like, you're trying to sort of obviously watch the film and sort of either get a message from it or just, for entertainment. And you're sitting there going, this feels uncomfortable.
Like when there's like a disconnect between the message that they're trying to send and what they're showing on the screen, it just kind of gets confusing.
Good intentions, but maybe flopped a little bit too much. Or maybe it was too stiff.
Execution.
Yeah, maybe it was too stiff. Maybe it didn't flop enough. That was the problem.
Well, yeah. And there's like one scene where like a dad brings his kids into the room while he's ploughing Emma Stone just so that they can like learn from it.
Oh, fam!
I mean, there's all kinds of weird, fucked up messages going on there.
Oh, I don't want to see this film.
So it's definitely an experience.
No, I'm good. I don't need to see that.
It's on Disney.
What? That's on Disney?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Jesus Christ.
An advertising campaign now, which is a little bit cringe, where they're like, that's not Disney. This is Disney, and it shows all these like X-rated adult things. It's like because people think Disney's just about Disney animated movies and stuff. But, there's quite a lot of adult stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like Disney Plus is really, really good because there are a lot of good shows on there. Like one of my favorites, Lie to Me, front and center on there. I love that show. But obviously, when you get stuff like that, I know they're going to say, well, it's up to the parents to put like the parental stuff on. Children are smart. Like, it won't take them long. It's like, it's like, especially when you see something like a film like that, it's like, there's a conversation to be had here.
But it's definitely unique. I can see, why it got a lot of attention and stuff. From the academies, but I wouldn't say I enjoyed it. No. I did end up skipping it like a little bit of it towards the end because I was like, okay, this is just too much. Yeah. 10 sex scenes in a row, really.
Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that.
But yes, that's the one I watched last night.
And unfortunately, your brain will not scrub it from your mind.
It's like usually I like it when a film can't get out of my mind, but this is for the wrong reason.
One of the films that I finally watched was Barbie. I know you watched it a while ago. So here's my thought process on that film. I thought it was a good film. I thought it was okay. Until the end. Where all the messaging that they had built up through the entire film...
all the women politicians and make the guys the
there's a specific part in that end bit when they're obviously all doing that, and I'm like, Barbie has her own identity, I'm all for this is great. And then there was a part where one of the Kens obviously asks, hey, can I do this job? And they immediately shut him down and tell him he's an idiot.
Because that's funny.
So that hour and a half before that you actually had a fairly decent message can all fuck off now then. What is wrong with people? Like, I thought Will Ferrell was really funny in it. I thought he was like that caricature. There you go. Of like a CEO boss, and I completely understood that was with that.
My favorite parts was with him in it.
Yeah, he was really funny. He did a really good job of playing that character. I think Margot Robbie did a good job as Barbie, trying to sort of. I think they did a very good job of. How it is for some women. I say so, like a lot of women this day and age, still to this day, is like getting catcalled and things like that. One of my favourite lines is that she doesn't have a vagina and he doesn't have a penis. That had me proper laughing. I did actually find that quite amusing. Yeah. There were a lot of good moments, but I just, once again, as Hollywood does, right in the end, they shat all over it. And it just fucking annoyed me because I was like, you were so close. So close. Like, I wouldn't say it's a bad film. I'd say if people want to go and watch it, definitely watch it. It is worth a watch. but just they did kind of shoot themselves in the foot in the end with that stupid
Yeah.
fucking line. It's like, oh, you still had to get one where you put men down. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's just Hollywood
It's like
can't
if
seem
you
to get
have
it right.
big up one group of people to shut another one down. It's like, why?
Yeah.
You
The
have
thing
to
is-
use another group to big up another.
It was like it was done so well all the way through. Like I thought, obviously it's Ryan Gosling, that plays Ken. It made sense for him to suddenly get a big ego and a big head and try and because he saw the real world and he saw that men are mostly in power and stuff, which very true. That is a thing that goes on, and it made sense that you had this arc for him where he was like naive and then like really arrogant and then sort of came back down and was like, "Do you know what? Yeah, you're right. Should be a middle of the road thing." And he turned out not to be happy. But then it's just having these stupid fucking jokes in the end of like, no, you can't do that, Ken. You just scrub the floor. It's you just shat all over the entire last hour and a half that I watched through, just to get another a jab in. Like, what's the point?
Yeah. It would have been interesting to see the whole movie just from like Ken's perspective, though. Like if it was called Ken, and then would see what their reaction was like.
Yeah.
If oh no, you're just Barbie. You can just stand there and look pretty and clean the floors, and then we'll be in power.
Yeah.
How would that go down? I could have done with a little less focus on gender roles and just a bit more focus on these toys being in the real world.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
would have been more enjoyable for me.
I think one of my favourite parts of that film was when Ken and Barbie obviously get split up and they're kind of exploring the world and seeing it from their own perspectives and stuff. I think that was one of the best parts because, Barbie kind of saw the toxicity in the world and Ken was obviously seeing toxicity in the world, but he was two different perspectives. And then it was interesting, obviously Will Ferrell's character only giving a shit about Barbie, didn't care about Ken. That makes sense as well. It's like, she's the woman. Like that's that's the brand essentially is Barbie. It's not Barbie and Ken. So that it showed a bit of like it was doing so well. It was like showing there's disparage on both sides, and then it was just like, nah, fuck you.
And I liked the kind of crazy Barbie.
Yeah, she was really good. She was really, really good. She's a good actress. I always forget her name. That's really annoying because she was really funny. She did a great job.
But yeah, they definitely had good parts, but
Yeah,
the kind of some things kind of do drag it down a little bit.
unfortunately. So it's
Yeah,
just the
that's,
way
that's in our society.
we live in a society.
Everything has to have a controversial little message at the end, just get those viewing numbers up.
Yep. What else have you been watching, good sir?
I watched another sci-fi called Black Box. This is quite a while ago now, a few weeks ago. It's about a guy who kind of gets this kind of headset thing, and then he can kind of go back and like relive his time with I think his wife died or something. So he could go back and like live times with her. It turns out it wasn't there's a good twist in there, let's just say. I'm kind of struggling to remember the plot now because it wasn't that it wasn't that memorable. But it was a good film on Amazon Prime. I would recommend watching it. It's interesting. It had one of the scariest kind of imaginary demon things I've ever seen, like realistic effects of someone like backwards walking and all that kind of
That's cool.
contorting themselves.
Yeah.
It definitely had the scariest use of that I've ever seen in a film. I'm like, what the fuck?
What the
People can actually do those positions.
Contortionist.
So they definitely did well there, and the twist at the end was quite good. It was completely all black cast, which of course is great. I didn't even think about it, to be honest. That was great. Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any correlation to it being called Black Box and the all black cast, but okay. Maybe there is. I don't know.
I mean, it's nice that there are more films that are coming out with full black cast, and I like that. I like the fact that they're getting like sort of a time to shine as well, because I think again, another disparaging thing in Hollywood. It's like it's always been predominantly white people. It's like, no, look, everyone is a person. Let's just give everyone an equal chance, and I think that's a really cool thing. Because I think I know the film you're talking about because I think I saw a trailer for it. And the trailer was really, really good. I just haven't. I have no time to sit down and watch films and shit.
I would recommend it.
I'll definitely check that one out. Yeah.
I did watch another one on Amazon. It's a TV show, The Horrors of Dolores Roach.
Oh, okay.
It was quite good. It's very kind of laid back and kind of chilled kind of series about a woman who comes out of prison, and then she ends up killing people and making them into empanadas with the help of people.
Female
it's a bit kind of stupid in parts, but it's light-hearted entertainment, I would say. With kind of dark undertones. Which is it's interesting. I kind of stuck it through. I probably wouldn't ever watch it again, but it was entertaining in some regards. You know, the concept of it was entertaining.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, not really much else to say about that one.
Oh,
it's good light-hearted entertainment, but it's not a binge-worthy one.
Oh, fair. One that I watched on Prime, starring John Cena, was Ricky Stanky.
Oh yeah.
So there's Zac Efron and there's a couple of good actors in there. Zac Efron, obviously John Cena, you know. And honestly, although the plot is ludicrous and it's ridiculous, it's very funny. John Cena does a good job with his comedy. Once again, man has got some acting chops. He actually did a fantastic job in it. I do highly recommend it. It's a really, really good film with a lot of funny moments. Obviously, it's outlandish and ridiculous. But there's some... Look, all I'll say is circumcision with cigar cutter.
Oh.
Just go. It's so good. Just please go. It's very funny.
With 4 things for an interesting night.
Yeah, it's very funny. Really, really funny, and it's done very well. And I do highly recommend people go and check it out because it is very, very good. And Zac Efron is really... It's nice to see Zac Efron in not just something with his top off constantly. You know, it's nice to see him actually get a chance to do his comedy acting and do his, you know, his thing. It's been a while since I've seen a film with him in it without his top off, so it's nice to see him just get a chance to show his comedy chops and you know, show that he has still got it. And you know, Cena is obviously just fucking brilliant when it comes to comedy. I don't know how he does it, but he's so good at it.
He actually succeeds where other past wrestlers have failed.
Yeah, absolutely.
In that kind of typecast of being the comedy brute.
Yeah.
In a lot of films.
Hats
off to him for actually, you know, being able to pull that off.
Sticking out.
Funny.
Sticking it out as well and managing to get roles and you know, do what he wants to do. Like he's doing
he's a nice man as well.
Very genuinely, nice genuinely a lovely guy as well. So more points to him. Like, you know, I didn't think he could do it because obviously he did a few movies early on, like in like the late 2000s. Like he did like The Marine and sort of The Reunions, sort of like action films, and he wasn't great. Like he was very flat and kind of just clearly didn't know what he was doing. But from him then to now, phenomenal. He's so funny. Yeah. He's really, really good one-liners. Like he's just keeps it entertaining from start to finish.
Yeah, I think he's learned how to have fun with it. You can tell he's having a ball. And, I think as you grow older, you just care less about what people think, I guess, and you're not trying to advance your career. He's just like being himself, and you know, obviously acting, but having fun with it.
It's paying off. It's paying off.
Yeah, it pays off definitely.
Have you got any more films and stuff? I've only got one more.
I started watching the latest series of American Horror Story, which I don't really recommend it, to be honest. It's called American Horror Story Delicate. I mean, out of all the horror things they could like do, they kind of focus on just kind of the horrors of childbirth and things like that. It's a bit like I like Emma Roberts. She's a good actress, and I like her in a lot of stuff. But I feel like she could have. They haven't really done her very well in this series. It's very kind of dull for an American Horror Story. Like I usually like the eccentric style of film.
I kind of fell off of it from what was it, Apocalypse? I fell off after that one. Like I understood what they were trying to do, like bring it all together. Like you had the coven that was there and all the different characters coming in, and I thought that was really cool, but it was so fucking boring.
It just got progressively worse as it started. Like, I really enjoyed the first couple of seasons, but
Asylum is fucking brilliant. I love Asylum. The first series of it is phenomenal. You know, there's some great actors in it as well, which was one of the best things about it. And then I don't know, after that I just had no interest. Apocalypse just kind of lost me. Coven was kind of boring, but at least it had like good characters in it. So despite the story being a bit flat, like I enjoyed watching them.
It has become like less interesting and more preachy. Like this one's got Kim Kardashian in it. I'd like, you know how I feel about celebrities becoming actors in things, and even singers to some extent. But yeah, just enough said about her. She's.
I mean, like I remember watching what was the first one that Lady Gaga was in? Was it Hotel, where she played a vampire and stuff? or a vampire-esque character. And I thought for her first kind of, I guess, major role as an actress, she did okay. You know, I think obviously you could tell she was still learning a lot, which is fair enough, you know, her first role. But I think she playing the weird character kind of helped her, and you know, that's kind of her persona.
Like, she was
and that's
known
her
for being
act,
weird and stuff, wasn't she? So,
yeah, and doing things
wearing
differently.
weird things.
Yeah, and I think it played very strong, like to her strengths. But then, like I said, after Apocalypse, I was kind of like, I'm done with this series now. Like it's just all crashed and burned, in my opinion. It doesn't work. Nothing lands. You know, it's just boring. I know they did the classic. What was the classic one they did? 1986 or something. Was it? Or was there like a
where it's like 2 parts?
Yeah, because that's what they've
Like,
started
one was
doing
like
now.
a TV show. What was it?
But yeah, I don't know anything about that because
Yeah, there's only 5 episodes on Disney. I don't know where the rest are.
The second part.
The hell's the rest?
I saw like an advertisement for it. I think the next half of season 2 comes out this month or next month, or this season, I should say, not season 2. But it's just like, why if you split it up into 2?
It's probably like a completely different story.
It's just,
Because if the second part is actually good, then you could have just completely retconned this first part.
Oh god, yeah.
But yeah, it's watchable, but it's not great.
Yeah, just don't expect anything amazing. Just kind of switch your brain off.
Just expect, you know, a lot of Kim Kardashian telling people how horrible men are.
Great.
Another one.
Another one. And another one.
Whilst also, you know, using men for her benefit as well, which is the great irony. But yeah. What else have we been watching?
I've only got one more. But it's an interesting one to talk about. This is talk about switching your brain off. You probably want to do that for this one, but Roadhouse remake with Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor.
Oh yeah, I think I started that one. I just turned it off.
I thought for a switch your brain, it's fucking ludicrous. Like Jake Gyllenhaal gets stabbed, and he just sort of stands there with a guy's holding a knife, and he goes, "Have you really thought this through? I'm sorry, if you were stabbed, you'd collapse. Like there is no middle ground here." But obviously, yeah, it's a switch your brain off. Enjoy the fight scenes, kind of thing. Look, Conor McGregor as an over-the-top villain, fucking hilarious. He did a great job. It's not his first acting role. For those of you who are not aware, Conor McGregor was in Call of Duty. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he did Call of Duty back in the day, so it's not his first, but he did really well for like his first proper like major kind of role. I think he played the over the top villain really well. There's some really good one-liners that he has, like when he crashes the car into like obviously the roadhouse and everything, and he gets out the car and Jake basically just turns to him and says, "You're a shit driver," and he just turns and goes, "Wrong side of the road," because in America, different side. It's cliche as fuck and stupid, but it's so like he's such an over-the-top caricature that it just works. He does a really, really good, and the fight scenes in it are extremely well done for what they are. So I give credit where it's due. It's not great with the story side of things, and there are some ridiculous fucking moments in it. But as for a switch your brain off, enjoy a few fight scenes kind of thing, it does its job, and it does it well. Yeah, so...
Yeah.
But,
I think a lot of people went into it kind of just wanting to see Jake Gyllenhaal shirtless and all this kind of thing. Thirsting.
Man looks good, though.
You can't deny he got into the role.
Definitely.
But yeah, I'll give that one another go at some point because I found it a little bit dull at the start. I think maybe it picks up.
Yeah, I think if you go into it thinking like you're looking for a good story and stuff, you're probably not going to enjoy it. But if you just switch your brain off and go, okay, I'm here for the fight scenes, I'm here for the over-the-top ridiculousness of it all, I think you'll have a great time with it because that is what it's for. Yeah. It's not there to be a serious story. It's there to just be like, hey, we have a UFC fighter who's doing fight scenes and he does it really well, and you got Jake Gyllenhaal who's a really good actor. Just enjoy the fight. It is a little bit long, I think. They probably could have shortened it down a bit. But yeah, it's good. It is good for what it is. And it doesn't take itself seriously as well, so that also helps it. It helps it in its side of things, because I think there are a couple of moments where they try to be super serious and it doesn't land, like completely just doesn't work. The fact they lean more into like the campy side of it and the silly side of it, it's like that's what works for it. That's what they should have been doing all the way through.
Okay.
But
well, I'll definitely give that another go. at some point.
At some point. Yeah, literally. It is just one of those things. You've had a long day of work
That's
or whatever.
I probably won't ever go back to it.
Yeah. But it's one of those things. It's a film that if you've had a long day at work, you just can't be asked for anything. Just want to switch your brain off and binge food. It's a great one to put on.
Yeah.
That's it.
Binge food while looking at all the ripped abs.
Literally, yeah. Good night for me. I enjoy it.
I kind of watched this kind of independent film. I haven't actually finished it, so I shouldn't really be talking about it. But I watched this film called Censor. It's about a film censor. It was on like Channel 4, All 4, whatever their streaming thing is. Got quite a few like independent films on.
Yeah.
Censor. It's about a woman who is a film censor, and she was like censoring films as part of like the 70s and 80s, where all these video nasties were like coming out, like really low budget kind of horror, gory films. Yeah. And then she has to like one comes in about like her real life experiences in the past as well. It's quite interesting. It's very slow and a little bit dull, but it is an interesting concept. The concept kind of held me on like throughout. I need to go back and finish it to see how it ends up, because it's very British. It's very kind of low key. Yeah. It's not got that kind of pizzazz that American horror has, but it is. It's interesting concept wise at least, and I will go back and finish that and give my full thoughts on it at some point. Oh. God, I need to stop saying at some point. I'm giving away my code. There was also Sugar on Apple TV, which I started the other day, which is quite interesting. It's very kind of inspired by old movies and kind of classic spy movies and Bond and like things like that. So Colin Farrell, the main guy, he's like kind of tasked with finding a missing girl, and it's very kind of artistically done. Maybe it's a little bit forced with the artistic kind of side of things, but it's interesting so far. It's like different from your average kind of TV series in that genre, so I would recommend giving that a look. I've only watched the first episode though, so maybe it's shit.
Maybe it's poop.
Maybe it's pure horseshit. But yeah, that's my experience with it anyway. And yeah, that is the end of what I've been watching. Oh, goddamn! That actually films went on longer than I thought it would. We did good. Yeah, well, you're not still in the next section yet. This is all you, my friend. Minus one thing. Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, I'll get through 3 really quick ones, kind of indie horror ones. Let's go into games. The games of life. So indie horror games. Yeah, in case it was in case it wasn't obvious. It's been a long week. But yeah, I managed to do. I finished Fears to Fathom, at least all the episodes that have come out so far. So I did episode 4. That was really good, really well done. It was the longest one out of them all. Again, you had a cameo from like Jacksepticeye doing like a voiceover in it, which again fun to see, but it's like, okay, another YouTuber, another cameo. Yeah, it's just like, why? One that we talked about in the last podcast that we did called the Lancaster Leaks. I had done the first episode of it. Complete indie horror game. I did episode 2 and 3. Really, really good. It's a shame really that sort of like these indie horrors don't sort of get console ports that often, because obviously with money and stuff, because those ones I think would be really, really good console port ones, because they're really interesting. You see the amount of shovelware in the shop, so you think you can add some actual decent indie one. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of good ones on there. And then the other one was Bloodwash, which was, I think that's on Steam. It's not a super long game. Another good indie horror. Keeps the tension up all the way through. There are some parts where you're just like, well, that's just confusing. But yeah, no, very good. I enjoyed all 4 of them, and they were great. Yeah. Points where they are due. Yeah, exactly. I think indie horror is definitely something that's underrated. Oh yeah, it's like indie films are seen as like these kind of like these little nuggets, these hidden gems, but indie games seem to be like a bit forgotten about, don't they? Yeah, they do. It's a shame, because some of them are really, really good. Well, I played a demo on the store. Stella. Oh, right, yeah, because I've seen some stuff on this. Yeah, it's like a really good demo. I like the kind of trend that they're doing of like releasing demos a few weeks before, like just like how it used to be in the olden days of
back in our day.
3 and 2.
Yeah.
So they used to release demos, and then your progress gets carried on and whatever. I think that's anything, but
Yeah, that's nice though.
yeah, it's very polished. It gives you a good insight. You get like a boss fight and stuff like that. It's an interesting concept. You can tell it's very like Japanese inspired kind of thing. So it plays in that style of Final Fantasy and kind of Devil May Cry and things like that. So it's yeah, I quite enjoyed playing it, but I mean the acting and stuff like that. Obviously, I think it probably worked better where it's like Japanese, like dubbed, rather than English, because it was a bit like dry, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's where it kind of shows its Eastern inspired influence.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one I'm actually like put on my radar now. So thanks to the demo.
Yeah, look at that. See, demos still work. They still do their job.
Yeah. Won't pay full price. So sorry, devs, but
Can't afford a full
still
price
done
game
its
these
job.
days.
It's put it on my radar.
Yeah, full price games are expensive now, man. They're really, really expensive.
Yeah.
It's like it's crazy to me that like do you know what I noticed the other day was like games on consoles are about £70, right? Some games still on Steam are like £50 on release. Same game, just cheaper on PC.
Console tax.
Fuck your console tax.
Oh, it's
Bullshit.
hard to put it on console.
Double
We
standard
want to cut a
bullshit.
bit. Said Microsoft and Sony.
Double standard bullshit. Oh, it's fair. I have seen some good stuff on that game, but yeah.
Yeah, it has got like kind of highly praised reviews and stuff. So must be down to the demo.
Demo's done it.
Yeah, the only game I'm actually going to buy full price next, I feel like, is going to be GTA 6.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think, because I feel like I get a lot of value out of that one.
Yeah. Even just with
and
the
they
story.
generally don't, because they only release a game every 10 years, so it generally doesn't go out in price. Down in price.
True. Yeah. Has to be a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But please continue with your game.
So I replayed through It Takes Two, which was
yes.
a fun one. That was good. Enjoyed that. I forgot how good that actually is. The book's kind of annoying, but yeah, the rest of it's pretty good.
The Book of Love.
Book of Love. You will fix your relationship together.
Oh yeah. What do you think of the message? It'll force you together.
My
whether you
opinion
like
on
it or not.
my opinion on it didn't change. I still thought, although yeah, it's a nice happy ending. It's nice, but it's like it's not always realistic.
Yeah.
But yeah, just my opinion. I played a demo of an indie game called Fractured Mind, which is kind of like a first person, but it's like it looks realistic. Like they've done it in like a fisheye lens, so it's kind of like a body cam thing, and they're really really good. There was another one as well called Prototype Demo. They're really really good. They look so realistic. They almost look photorealistic. It's crazy. They look incredible. And they're obviously done by like one person and stuff, so it's pretty nuts how they've done it and managed to keep it kind of looking that good and everything. But I guess game devs, sort of indie devs, are getting a little bit more advantage now with like Unity Engine 5, or was it not Unity Engine 5, Unreal Engine 5, sorry, and Unity and things. So I mean, it looks really good. So hopefully that will continue and be made.
Yeah.
Also played through Inscription. Finally finished it.
Okay.
That was a good one. I was quite surprised because I wasn't expecting to like it. Like card games and strategy stuff, not my thing. I'm really bad at stuff like that. But that one was really compelling and really good as well. A lot of like hidden messages that you have to kind of decode and go on the internet and sort of decode stuff. And it's interesting way of doing it, and it worked really well. So praise be to them.
Yeah.
They did great. You've got your Call of Duties and your Fortnites that I've been playing. Although Fortnite, I am struggling. Like, I really want to try and finish the pass, but it's like,
Yeah, it's not really. It needs to kind of pick it up a little bit again with the next season because it's getting a bit dry.
I think like the Zeus and everything like that is really cool. I like the different weapons and kind of the story I guess they're going with, but I don't know. It's kind of got old quick.
They used to have like weekly story things that you had to like.
Yeah.
It was all like audio logs and stuff, but I used to like a bit of story each week, and now it's just there's nothing. It's like start of the season, there's like something that happens, which is probably unrelated to what happened at the end of the last season, and then that's it until the next season.
Yeah.
It's because they kind of gave up on the 0 point thing. That's just like a thing of the past now. So they just like rebooted the story a little bit and just kind of they can just do whatever they want now. There's like no direction really.
I think the thing is as well is I think they've got it's cool that they've got all these different modes in Fortnite, you know, Lego and racing and everything. I think that's cool, but I think they've got to be careful not to spread themselves too thin, because like if it's already starting to show in like Fortnite and stuff playing the Battle Royale. I'm not complaining about the gameplay again. Gameplay is stellar as it always has been with Fortnite, but it's just I don't know, it gets a little bit boring. There's barely any story stuff that gets released, and when it does, you get them done in like an hour. Like so, and then you're sort of just fucking wandering around doing the same thing, and it's like, I've got other games that I kind of want to play through.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever designed to be like the thing that you can play for hours and hours, I guess. But maybe for kids. But when you're an adult, you kind of got better things to do when you've like done what you need to do.
yeah. You kind of like, I want to play games for story instead.
But now it's you've got all these different kind of games to try and inside of Fortnite to get you to play it more and more and be the only game you play. So I am surprised that they've managed to kind of keep up with it. They are adding things to all the different modes. And they're not like complete horror shows of game modes. They're all decent in their own right.
Yeah, by no means am I saying Fortnite is dull or boring at this point. There's plenty to do, but I think.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I'm just I got to a point now with gaming where it's like I want to play a game for its good story, and I want to have fun with that, and not just go around pew-pewing. I think there's a balance to be had, and unfortunately Fortnite is lacking on that sort of story balance.
Yeah, you need a little bit of a better balance.
little push.
But as with everything, it kind of comes and goes, isn't it? Like you get interested in it, will peak and then trough again.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I'm sure there'll be more peaks in the future.
Definitely, yeah. I'm sure they'll do something cool.
I was reading something about this. Either it's a film scripts company or something, or a game one, where it's like they kind of source out the scripts of this company so that they flesh it out and add like a load of diversity thing. I can't remember what, if I've made this up. It's called like Baby something.
I don't know. I know there was like a thing.
I've made it up.
I think there's like a program that sort of looks at the diversity and like sort of does it in like percentages to work it out. I've heard of that thing, but I don't know about that.
It's so weird these days that like something like that will exist. That like people will make a script or whatever, then they'll send it off to this company just so that it ticks all the boxes, and they fill it full of like modern things to make it relevant to an inoffensive to a new modern audience.
Yeah,
which is
crazy.
But yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that one because could possibly mean a dream I had.
maybe
maybe it's a dream.
Maybe it's
after watching Poor Things, my mind was floated.
Poor thing.
Well, it's me.
Yeah. So I've only got 3 more, but Rusty Lake series, kind of like an indie point and click game. Fucking weird. So weird, but interesting enough to keep your attention. Only takes like an hour or 2 to finish each game. They're fairly fun, fairly enjoyable. Good art styles on Steam. Go check them out. All right, now we're on to the last 2. So I've done Alan Wake 1 and Alan Wake American Nightmare, the spin-off game, and the DLCs to Alan Wake 1 on Nightmare. That was interesting. A lot easier than I thought it would be. I expected Alan Wake to be a lot harder on the hardest difficulty because it's a bit of a clunky game. It's that thing. One of my favorite YouTubers that did a video on it called Brookie was like, "You say Alan Wake is the best 6 out of 10 game that I have ever played," because it is. It's the gameplay to it is not great, but there is a reason that I have it tattooed on me. So I love that game series to pieces, and it was an interesting experience to play through it on the hardest difficulty because I thought it was going to be like really tough. I was preparing myself for the rage, and it didn't happen. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I need to go and play Alan Wake Remastered.
It's really, really good, and obviously it's a bit clunky because 2010 game, so a little bit clunky and a bit unorthodox at times. But Alan Wake 2, which I will be playing through on Nightmare on stream as well, I've been playing through that with my mum, and that's almost finished now, and that's really, really good. Really polished, really well done. Just looking forward to playing that on the hardest difficulty.
Yeah, does that kind of improve on where the first one lacks?
Oh, absolutely. Gameplay wise, so much better. Story wise, really, really good. I mean, everyone's heard at this point of the musical level they do. Oh,
Dance.
so fucking good. So yeah, it's Alan Wake 2 is phenomenal. It's done really well, and it kind of connects. No spoilers, but it does connect their Remedy verse that they have slowly been building out, like Control and Alan Wake and
That'd be good.
Quantum Break and stuff. So it all sort of links together, which is really cool. So yeah, it's been fun.
I've been waiting for some clarity.
Yes, there is some
Not
stuff
that you get with these games.
There is some stuff
Too long.
that you start seeing in Alan Wake 2 where you're like, fuck me, that's from Control. Fuck me, that's from there. That's from this. So it's very cool. It is really good. Yeah. And then the last one is I'm slowly getting through God of War Ragnarok.
Okay.
Which, phenomenal game. Really, really good. Obviously, I mean, Santa Monica always nail it and do really well with it. The acting, obviously, is phenomenal. Ryan Hurst has thought, it just works. It just works. So
yeah, I need to get on these sequels. I need to play Spider-Man 2. I need to play God of War Ragnarok.
I think the problem is it's so expensive as well, though. That's the thing. It's like trying to justify paying so much for a game. Despite them being great games, it is a lot of money to pour into, just a game. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a tough one. Tough choice.
Especially if they're quite short. Well, I mean, more so in Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2's game's been quite short. Like,
Do you?
Yeah, can I pump that much in to something that's only going to last me 10, 12 hours or something?
I mean, I think Spider-Man 2, if you're doing just the story, probably take you about 20 hours, something like that, I think. Right. But I think a lot when it comes to like Santa Monica games, like you could probably get God of War done in like 20 hours as well, just story stuff, I imagine, if you just blast it through the story. But if you're going for like... Yeah, I mean, if you're kind of going for like platinums or if you're trying to do all the side mission stuff, yeah, you're going to be looking at a lot more hours and it's probably more worth investing that time into it and money. But yeah, I mean, great game so far. I haven't finished it yet and I don't believe... I think the only spoiler I had, thankfully, from God of War Ragnarok, I've passed that part in the story now, so it's good. I can't believe I've managed to avoid spoilers for it like I did with Last of Us 2. I don't know how I've done it, but perks of not using the internet, folks. But yeah, I mean, it's been good, and that's me.
It's kind of The Last of Us 2 is kind of because the main spoilery thing happens like almost at the start, doesn't it? Yeah. So it's like kind of hard not to get that spoiled the first time someone boots up the game.
Unfortunately, yeah. But yeah, that's me. That's all again.
That's us.
That's us. We've done it.
That's us.
We've done it.
We've done it.
But yeah, so yeah, we hope
like that was quite a good one.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, hour and 10 minutes. Not bad. Not bad.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Interact.
But yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, we always enjoy it, and it's nice to have caught up with you, Sean. Hopefully, we'll get to hang out after this a little bit as well. But yeah, to everyone that has watched, thank you for taking the time to do so. We hope you enjoyed the episode, and of course, we will see you when we see you next. I'm not going to say 2 weeks' time because there's no guarantee. I know we're going to try and do something for the the next anniversary of the podcast, which I think we're on year 4. 4 years of doing this shit.
Good God. Ooh. Dear God, you've aged.
Yeah. When we started this, I was closer to 20. Like, fuck. By God. But yeah, we might try and do something.
Wars.
All of it.
Not in this. Well, yeah, some of this country.
Yeah, we'll try and do something for it maybe. But yeah. Thank you for joining me as always, good sir. It's been a pleasure.
Oh yes, it's been an absolute ball. I've gotten so much off my chest, I feel lighter.
You know how they say the English always sounds sarcastic? There you go. No, but yeah, thank you guys for watching. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace out.
Peace out, my home dog.